Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about my pregnancy. So yes, the title's correct, I am pregnant. I am currently 5 months at this point. Yesterday I made exactly 20 weeks, which was Wednesday the 28th was 20 weeks for me. So we're halfway there now. Literally, it's starting to go by really fast at the moment. At the beginning it was kind of dragging by, and now it's just like, you know, flying by. We're 4 months away until baby's here, which is just crazy. At the end of the video I will be sharing you the gender of my baby. In between will be just a little backstory about just how we felt about getting pregnant and stuff, to me actually finding out I was pregnant, to just a little bit where we're at now. I have my notes right here. I have quite a bit. The next video I'll be filming after this is my first trimester experience. I'm going to be doing 3 videos. It'll be first trimester, second, and third trimester. I'm not going to do like weeks, I don't think. So I'm just going to sum it up into my trimesters and just split off into 3 videos. I guess without further ado, if you want to hear about my pregnancy, I guess, journey, then just keep watching. Okay, so we're going to talk about my pregnancy. So kind of a little bit of backstory before we get into actually me finding out I was pregnant. My husband and I in total have been together for 10 years. It'll be 10 years September 28th of this year. Out of those 10, we've been married, gosh, 20, 21, it'll be 5 years September 30th. So out of those 10 years, for the last three and a half years, we've been on and off trying to get pregnant. And I say on and off because, one, his job, with the job that he works, he's never really home, or it's not as often as just like coming home every night or every other night or even a few times a week. He works on a boat, so he's usually, or in the position that he was in at the time, he's in a different position now. He's working his way up the ladder right now, so he is home, at least now, more often than he was before. So in those like 3.5 years of us trying, on and off trying, he was gone for a month and home for 2 weeks. Sometimes he'd be gone a little bit longer. And you obviously can't plan or pick and choose when your period comes and then your ovulation. So him coming home and trying to time that with my ovulation and stuff, it hardly ever worked. And in that time I also had a job, and I'm just a very stressed out person, if that makes sense. So like I always stress about the littlest things and the dumbest things, like things I shouldn't even worry about stressing about. Work was one of them, and I just stayed in a constant, I feel like, state of stress, constant mindset of stress, which isn't good. And like it's crazy what stress can do to your body. And the second part of that is just I go through these stages where I'm just, a few months I'd be like, I think I'm ready for kids, and then the next few months I'd be like, I think I can wait. I also want to go ahead and say I know I've always wanted kids. That part I've been the most sure about since I can remember. Since I was little, I knew I wanted kids. But the older I got, and then we got married, and then it just came to time, like the time obviously where people are just kind of like, so when are kids coming? And you really think about it, at least for me, it settled in, and I was just like, I'm not ready for kids like right now. Especially after we got married, I just want to enjoy our marriage and just have that time to like travel or just be married, you know. There's plenty of times for kids later. You don't have to rush it, or at least that's my opinion. You don't have to rush kids. I don't know, just how I was in the state of mind, because I'm also a very uncertain and unsure person. I don't like making decisions. I've never been 100% sure about anything at all, other than like I knew I wanted to marry my husband. That's probably the most sure I've been about anything. I've never been a sure person, 100% sure person. And that was one of the things in the time of us trying to conceive. Some months I'd think I'm ready, and then other months realization would settle in, and I'd just be like, I don't want that responsibility right now. So that's where I was throughout the 3.5 years we were trying. It was actually up until last year, beginning of last year, I actually made a doctor appointment to see if there was anything wrong, because you got to think too, at least for me, we've been together, it'll be 10 years, you know, this year. Now the 10 years, 6, almost 7 of those years we were together. TMI, but we weren't using contraceptives. anything to prevent pregnancy. So the only time I was ever on birth control was 2013 to 2014. I It was a pill. Honestly, I cannot tell you exactly which one it was, but it was a pill, and I took it every night before bed. And then I didn't renew the prescription or anything after that. I didn't worry about it. So 2014, 20, 21, yeah, almost 7 years without any contraceptives. After 2014, nothing. You know, we weren't taking precautions to prevent pregnancy. And I don't know, it just, even if I didn't want kids, it kind of makes you think, like, in the time that we haven't been using contraceptives, we haven't gotten pregnant, so is something wrong? So again, in the last 3 to 4 years of us on and off trying, I finally made a doctor appointment at the beginning of last year just to make sure that things were fine, that nothing was internally wrong. He did a sperm test and his sperm came out good. They said everything was fine. But my first doctor appointment I ever went to, yeah, they said everything was fine. They took my progesterone levels and they were at an 8, which I believe my nurse said was normal. Like, they're good, they're fine. The second doctor appointment I ever went to, I think my first one was in March. My second one was like April or May. I'm not gonna I don't know the exact times. But I know I went to exactly 3 doctor appointments last year. My second appointment, they took my progesterone levels again, and I want to say they were still at about an 8. I didn't write down what number they were at, but they did prescribe me with clomiphene, which is clomiphene is an estrogen modulator. It can treat infertility. It's used to induce ovulation in women who do not produce eggs but wish to become pregnant. Clomiphene is in a class of medications called ovulatory stimulants. It works similarly to estrogen, a female hormone that causes eggs to develop in the ovaries and can be released. So they put me on that, and it was just 5 pills. I had to take it on the 3rd day of my next period through the 7th day, and that was just supposed to, she said, increase my progesterone levels and basically just help with the chances of getting pregnant. And then she said from there we just wait. And then I was scheduled for another doctor appointment, which would have been my 3rd, to go, and they would just check my progesterone levels again. And at that point, I think it was like a month, almost 2 months later, that I went to that appointment. I went back because I had taken the clomiphene, and they checked my progesterone levels, and they were at like a 12.6. Yeah, they're at a 12.6. And again, at that appointment, she said that's really good. That's what we wanted to see it at, and now we just wait. We brought up endometriosis at some point, and my doctor did tell me that there's no way to be 100% sure that you have endometriosis unless we go in internally and look. But that's honestly something I didn't really want to do. Everyone's experience is different. Just keep that in mind. Make sure you talk to your doctor about things. If you have questions, don't go off my video on what I'm spewing out, because even though that's what my doctor told me, things could be completely different for you. So obviously talk to your doctor. This is just my experience. So anyway, at that point, which was about going toward the end of summer, I didn't worry about it much anymore after that. In that time also, I was going through my stage of just like, I don't think I'm ready for the responsibility, so I'm not gonna make another doctor appointment. I'll look into it for next year, which would have been 2021 this year. And I told him, you know, if it happens in this time, it is what it is. I was back on that just uncertainty again of it. Again, this is about end of summer, and within the last like few years, we had brought up adoption. It was never just out of the option completely. It was just kind of brought up. But we talked about it more heavily last year, especially toward the end of last year, because we started to just kind of think about, you know, obviously it hasn't happened at this point. It didn't happen in the years that we weren't using protection or being precautious. I got prescribed, I don't even know if that's a correct word, but they gave me clomiphene. It raised my progesterone levels. Like, I'm still not getting pregnant. You know, in that time, just going back and forth between I'm ready, I'm not. But it was still like, in a way, in the back of my head, a concern, because again, like, you know, all those years you've been together, not being careful, and you still haven't gotten pregnant, and then the doctor does give you something at a point in time to help increase your chances of getting pregnant, and you still don't get pregnant. Like, I don't know, it just kind of makes you wonder. Even if you're not ready or you don't want kids, it just kind of makes you wonder though, is there something wrong with me? So I was like thinking about that a little bit. I didn't want to pursue going back to the doctor for a while. I just wanted to just, I guess, kind of wait it out, but also just, you know, just not worry about it. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. So I put it off for this year, 2021. But in that time again, adoption was more heavily brought up, especially at the end of last year. And toward literally like by December of last year, 2020, we had just come to the conclusion, honestly, I think I mostly did. I feel like some of it was mostly me. I don't know, but anyway, I'll just say we came to the conclusion that adoption was probably more realistic for us, and that's probably what we were going to end up doing. And it would have been in a few years when my husband got in a higher position. And I don't know, I just felt like when we were a little bit more stable in our life, not that we're not stable now, but in my head I just wanted a bigger place. We both wanted him to be in a higher position at his job, obviously making more money. And in my head, to me, that was just a better circumstance of bringing kids into the picture than just at that point in time where we were. Another thing we talked about, at least my husband and I, was IVF, or just some type of fertility treatments and stuff. And it was considered for a minute. It can get very expensive. I don't like shots. I know that's like a immature thing to say, but it's just not for everybody. So that was one of the options between there and adoption. I'd much rather have just went with adoption. And also, I want to say that my husband was on board with anything that I wanted. So I just want to put that out there. Like, no, I wasn't just bossing him around saying we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. It was a mutual agreement. So at the end of last year, we were pretty much set on adopting. Like, that was gonna be our ticket to kids. That's what we were gonna probably end up doing, because again, it obviously hadn't happened up until that point. And I was also like, I was more on board with that anyway. Just in my head, just in the grand scheme of things, I'm just thinking like, we'll do this and this, like, I don't know, I just have it planned out, you know. But obviously things have a funny way of working themselves out. So in December of 2020, our baby was conceived, and I did not find out until January. So moving on to January, a week before I found out, I went to see my husband out of state at his job, and I stayed the night with him. And at that night we were just talking and kind of joking around, and I also told him too that I was about to get my period. I was getting symptoms to get my period, and he made the comment, "What if you're pregnant?" And I kind of laughed, and I was like, I don't think so. So a week later, I don't know, I just want to throw it in there, like he brought it up. So, but I was just like, no, I don't think so. So a week later, it was January 14th of this year. I was talking to him on the phone that morning, and it was a Thursday morning, maybe about 10 or 11 a.m. and we were on the phone, and again, I was telling him, yeah, I'm about to start my period. I made the comment like, wouldn't it be crazy if you were pregnant or something like that. And again, I laughed. I was like, yeah, whatever. We just finished the conversation, got off the phone, and I had to pee at that point. So I thought about it for a second, and I was just like, you know, what's it gonna hurt if I take a pregnancy test? I have nothing to lose. In the time that we were on and off trying, especially last year when I started going to the doctor and just being a little bit more consistent about trying to track my ovulation and things like that, I bought this box of pregnancy and ovulation tests. It's, I think each, let's see, the pregnancy and the ovulation, it was like 50 strips each, is like the little paper tests. Came in an orange box. I got off Amazon. I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. It was like $25, so it wasn't too bad, but they were the thin paper strips. So I went and, you know, grabbed a test. I did my business. I went over to my sink. I stuck the test in the cup. I stuck the test, or I laid the test on the paper towel, and I started washing my hands. And literally, like, this all happened like between me sticking the test in the cup and then washing my hands, maybe like 10 seconds. I look over and 2 lines appear on the test, and I just stare at it for a second, and then I start just bawling my eyes out. And yeah, I was like ugly crying. After I stared at it, cried. Like a minute later, I called my husband, and I'm bawling my eyes out, and he's like, what's wrong? And all I could manage to get out was there's 2 lines, and I said it like 3 times before I can get the rest out, because again, I was ugly crying. I'm so glad he was calm, because I felt like too, I was scared. Not that he'd, you know, just freak out or anything, but I was just nervous, because after so many times of trying to tell somebody, or somebody's trying to tell you something, whether they're laughing, crying, or something, like I'm not gonna lie, it gets annoying when you're constantly like, what'd you say? Like, get it out, you know? So I was nervous because I could not get it out, and I was just like, man, he's gonna get irritated with me. But I finally got out. There's 2 lines on the pregnancy test, and he said, what does that mean? And I said, it means I'm pregnant. I think I'm pregnant. I honestly don't remember much of what he said right afterwards, but I do remember him asking me, so how are you feeling? What do you want to do? And I was just like, I don't know. It's a lot to take in. I had it planned out in my head, you know, he was gonna get a better job, or better position in his job. We were gonna move, and then we were gonna adopt a kid or 2, you know, in a few years. Like I was not expecting to bring a kid into our lives this soon. So it was just a lot to take in. I was very overwhelmed. People handle things differently. So we talked for like another 10 minutes, and the whole time I'm just shaking. Towards the end of the conversation, I'd start to giggle and I'd laugh, and I'd just be like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm pregnant. And then I'd start crying again, just like, I can't believe I'm pregnant. I don't know, it was just, it was a lot of emotions all at once. I don't know, it was definitely a hectic morning for me. But after that, after I got the phone, I called my younger sister, because you want to tell people, you know, you want to just, or at least I'm the type of person where I have a big mouth, and I suck at keeping things in for the most part, so I want to tell somebody else. I didn't want to tell too many people though, because at that point, I honestly didn't know how far along I was, because I couldn't remember the exact day of my period. I had an idea. I know it was like almost mid-December, but I wasn't for sure. And obviously when you're that early in pregnancy, at least for me, in my experience, I didn't want to tell so many people and get people's hopes up, and then, you know, it just not work out. She kind of asked me the same thing. She's like, you know, how are you feeling? You know, what do you want to do? What are you thinking? I told her, you know, I don't know. I'm still processing, you know, it's a lot to take in. I don't know how to feel, you know, I don't. Like, I was giggling with her, and then I'd start crying again. So I was just like, you know, I just want to take it in for a second. I just want to calm down, because I was also shaking. And I told her I think I'm about to just call and make a doctor appointment just to see what's up. We'll just go from there, you know. When I got off the phone with her, I made a doctor appointment. So we set the date for February 11th, I believe, and that would have put me at like 9 weeks. The closer time it got to the appointment, the more nervous I got, because I was just thinking, like, what if it's a false positive? You know, what if I'm crazy? What if, you know, it's you know, something's wrong with the fetus? I don't know, I was starting to get worried. I went to my first doctor appointment February 11th. And we got to the appointment. My husband actually was able to go to the first appointment with me. We got there, we looked up at the screen when she's doing the ultrasound, and the baby's like this big. It was so little, and it was just moving around. That ultrasound was a vaginal ultrasound. So we did that. She said I was in 9 weeks and 1 day. And yeah, it was crazy. Seeing it just confirmed that this is real. This is for real. I'm not imagining things. I'm not, you know, it's confirmed. There's something inside of me. The doctor said everything was fine. I believe at that point the baby's heart rate was like 187 beats per second. And it was a healthy baby at that point. So yeah. Then my second one, I believe, was at the end of February, and that one I had to do like February 29th or something. I don't know. And that was my blood work. I hated blood work. That one they did an actual ultrasound. It was quick. The heart rate was like 167 or something. They did my blood work. Things came back fine. My third appointment was March 30th, I believe. It was another ultrasound. That one was the gender. I asked her to put the gender in an envelope for me, and yeah, I was gonna open it with my husband when he came home, which was gonna be the next day, and we'd open it together, and then we'd do like a small gender reveal. The next day I came home, and we're sitting on the bed, and we opened it, and there it was. It was so sweet. I was so excited. My husband was so excited. If I were to get pregnant though, I did know that I wanted like the whole experience. I want to do a gender reveal. Just try and enjoy it as much as I can. Honestly, I thought too, if I ever did get pregnant, I was gonna film from like day one, my experience, like my journey, I guess. obviously did not happen. I've barely done any filming since I've been pregnant. Part of that's just because I've been so tired, which I'll get more into in the first trimester video, but it's just been crazy, you guys, so crazy. So I think we had 2 weeks ago, and I don't know, it was like mid-April we had it. And my sister got us, if I can insert a picture, I will up here somewhere or over here, but my sister got us this heart-shaped little, it's like a chocolate shell cake. I don't know how to explain it, but it's hard. You hit it with the hammer. I guess I'll go ahead and tell you guys. So these two are from my first ever ultrasound. This was February 11th. That's them. Oh. Or that's the baby. We only have one, but that's just from the ultrasound. Just a little baby. And this one was from my next one, which was February 26th. This one was 162 beats per minute. Okay, I think I said per second last time, but it's per minute. Here's baby again. So tiny, it's crazy. Just seeing it, just it being confirmed is just like mind-blowing. So this one was the gender. This one was on March 31st. I'm so sorry, I'm getting the dates wrong. But this is the gender, you guys. It's a boy. It's crazy. That one, he ended up turning like in a fetal position, just crouched down. She said it was hard to get it. He was being stubborn. She kept like having to jiggle my stomach kind of aggressively to get him to move and turn so they could see, you know, the gender. But at that point, he was lying on his back and he was kicking a lot. And I guess the way he had his legs, like she could not tell. Then at some point he turned back over. So he's already stubborn. He's gonna be just like his dad. So that's great. No, I'm just kidding. And I think I felt him move for the first time about almost a week ago. I was laying in bed, and at that point I would have been 19 weeks. But I was laying in bed on my right side, and I just felt like some like little twitching. Cause like even before I got pregnant, my stomach would like just weirdly spasm out sometimes, just have twitches. But this one was like super light. And it was in my lower abdomen, and it was just like little pulsating twitches for a second. They'd stop and then they'd start again. They were so light, and then it just stopped. And my dad and I were gonna go pick up some food, and in the car it felt like little butterflies, and I'm pretty sure both times it was him. But oh my gosh, it's just been so crazy. Just gosh, I am happy the first trimester is over, just in the sense like it was not that great for me. The second trimester has been better. Obviously, you know, the third's coming, and we'll just see what happens then. But I'll be doing my first trimester video in a second. I don't know. It's honestly, again, I never thought I'd be sitting here making this video, at least anytime soon. And I thought that if I ever did, it'd be because we adopted, not because we were able to have our own. And yeah, with the stress thing that I mentioned earlier, I do believe it was stress. I do think that I just stayed stressed out. I'm glad it happened when it did versus when we were actually like on and off trying. It's crazy. It's especially when you least expect it. And I do think the reason why we couldn't get pregnant was just due to stress and me stressing, because after I quit Walmart in October, 2 months later we got pregnant. So I think just the burden of not worrying about work and people I worked with or customers, and just not, you know, worrying about the house while I was gone at work for, you know, 9-10 hours a day. I just think it all contributed to why we can have kids. I am super excited now, especially. And again, it's not that I just was just like pissed or just angry that we were pregnant. I was just, it was a lot to take in, and it's just such a lot to process, especially when you're just not really expecting it. And maybe to some people that's stupid to say, because I don't know, like how can you not be expecting it when, you know, the doctor never told you that anything was wrong, you know, you were never using protection. Like I get that, but again, it'd been so long without protection, and we couldn't get pregnant, or we didn't get pregnant, and then we just came to the realization like adoption may be it for us. And then when you just kind of just have a plan put into place of how you want or hope things will go, and then the universe is just like, yeah, Just kidding. And then it happens, you know, something else happens. So my husband and I are super excited. And yeah, I just want to share that with you guys. Oh, I didn't say his due date. His due date is September 15th of 2021 of this year. This shirt right here is from Amazon. My mom got it for me. It just says mama and it has a bear, so mama bear. And this necklace right here, I don't know if you can tell. I'm not gonna get up close because I ain't looking too high right now, but this necklace says mama. I got off Amazon. I'm really wanting one with his name on it. We're not gonna share the name until after he's born. That is like a whole other thing. His name, lots of people don't like his name, and you know, to each their own. We wanted something different and unique, and I did tell my husband. I gave him a list of names and I said, you can pick from this list if it's a boy. But yeah, the boy name is definitely different. You hear it more as a title than a name. There are kids out there with this specific name. I'm not gonna say it till he's born or right around the time he's born. Yeah, my family's not, and his family's not too crazy about his name. I didn't realize how, I don't really want to use the word controversial, but I guess controversial baby things are. Like as far as like the name, how you raise your kid. People have opinions and thoughts about other people's kids, but it's like up until you get to that point. Honestly, I think everybody does to an extent. Like we all have an opinion on something until we're actually in that circumstance and can relate or understand. I just think that's just normal human nature. That's just how we are. Now actually being in this position, and we're talking about how we want to raise our kid, names, and just, I don't know, just how we want to live our life when he's here. I never realized how controversial it was, especially with his name. Again, not many people are crazy about it, but one person in particular keeps like sending me things like, here's a list of names that are just as unique and your kid won't be entitled to being made fun of when he goes to school. I'm not worried about him being made fun of. Kids are mean anyway. Kids are gonna make fun of other kids for the dumbest things. And if it's not gonna be his name they make fun of, it's gonna be something else. You know, hopefully my kid won't have to go through that, but just in general, kids can be mean. And you don't have to have a unique name to be made fun of. And that's really sad to say, but I feel bad for anyone who has to go through that, because it's no walk in the park. No kid should have to be made fun of for something that's out of their control. But it just hurts my feelings in the sense that this person just keeps throwing jabs at me to just change his name. Because in my head, there's more to a person than their name. And if you're somebody who judges somebody based off their name, then you're just not a good person. And I just feel sorry for you. I mean, that's all I kind of have to say about it. I haven't been as straightforward as my husband has. He did tell some people that they can F off, that they got to name their kid and this is our kid. But it's kind of getting to the point where I don't want to be mean or ugly, but I'm just tired of being almost like bullied into feeling bad about what I'm naming my kid, like I should change it. I know I'm going on like a whole other spiel. I didn't even plan on it, but I know, I guess the moral of that is just, you know, when or if you have kids, you know, if what you're doing feels right and you're fine with it, then stick with that. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You know, I'm sure you're being a good parent. I like to think that me and my husband will be good parents, and the decisions we're making for our kid is for the best and what works for us, because that's another thing. Everything, you know, that you do for your kid or how you do things doesn't work for everyone else. And I just wish more people would, you know, realize that. To each their own. So this is my bump, 5 months along, 20 weeks. Last time I got on the scale, which was like 3 days ago, I only gained 8.5 pounds, which I guess isn't too bad for 5 months. I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you. Follow me on my social media at KateFrancis24 on Instagram and Twitter. Hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. So again, thanks so much for watching. Next will be my first trimester video, so stay tuned for that. It'll be linked in the card somewhere up here, especially at the end screen if you want to check it out. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.